How does understanding our identity point to the existence of God? Hello, doubters. Welcome to Dealing with Deconstruction, where if you are asking big questions of your Christian faith, you are in the right place. I have with me Phoenix Hayes, part of the crossexamined.org organization, right?
That's right.
You do so much for that organization behind the scenes, and now you're kind of stepping out into more of a visible role, doing some speaking. But I wanted to really get your understanding and argument for how identity points to the existence of God. So unpack that for us.
Okay, there are so many layers to this right now. So first off, the fact that people feel entitled to any kind of right at all has to be rooted in the fact that you have value and dignity beyond just being a molecular machine.
Yeah.
From the atheistic worldview, you are nothing but moving chemicals and atoms, and you have no inherent right to anything. It's only the Christian worldview that says that you are, as a human, an image bearer of God, and with that, and only that, you have intrinsic worth, value, dignity, and should be treated with respect and love and all those things. So, first off, all the people who deny the existence of God but still want to hold on to rights are trying to have their cake and eat it too. It's a contradictory worldview. But further to that, we're having people who are determined and dead set on, because they're denying God as the source of their identity, they're seeking external places to place their identity.
Yeah.
And we can all see the fallout of that. So, and truly Christians are guilty of this too.
Yeah.
We've got, as a Christ follower, we are first and foremost owned, for lack of a better word, by God.
Right.
We were bought with a price, right? So when a Christian is black first and then a Christian, white first, middle class first, female first, homosexual first, whatever you want to put on the pedestal of your identity first, you're getting things out of order. So we're seeing it everywhere, this big worship of identity, but everyone's placing it in the wrong spot. So the transgender movement, identity is placed on feelings.
Yes.
Yep. The whole racial tension, identity is placed on how much melanin you have in your skin. We've always placed identity, for a long time in occupations and socioeconomic status.
Yeah.
All those things. So it always fails. It'll fail every single time, especially if you happen to have placed it in something that is movable.
Yes.
Like money.
Like a degreed property
like property, like status, like power, like a job role, all those things. The suicide rate apparently among, like Fortune 500 leaders that have been at the top, a king of their company, and then they get pushed out for retirement, suddenly like, what have I got to live for?
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about, kind of degreed properties, like the idea of the image of God isn't something that you can have more or less of based on some sort of characteristic, whether it's, again, your occupation, like you mentioned, or intelligence, or melanin level in your skin, or lack of melanin level, all those different things, or where you're at in the world, or where you were born.
Yeah.
None of that stuff matters because it's not something that you can have more or less of. And so when we miss that, we seem to miss kind of that broader context that a lot of those human rights are built on.
Yeah.
Anything else that you wanted to comment, like maybe how that relates to people starting to question their faith and starting to question whether or not it's true? So how does not understanding identity kind of play into some of that based on what you said?
Yeah. So when one of the things I notice over and over again in the deconstruction movement is people who have placed their value and identity, because they're so closely linked, and anything outside of the true nature of God, because people can have a mischaracterization of God too. Their identity is rooted in the culture of Christianity,
Yeah.
not in the person of God.
Yeah,
And
good.
when the culture of Christianity hurts them, or a pastor hurts them, because there's a lot of pastors who, believe it or not, are human,
Yep.
just some of them, and those humans can do really, really dumb things. We're all guilty of it, some definitely more so than others. The reaction is, okay, I don't need to dig deeper into God. I need to deconstruct the culture that is around this idea of God
Excellent, yeah.
and pick out a new one, or start, cherry picking what works better, what keeps me feeling valuable,
Right.
and worth and comfortable, secure.
Yeah.
The other thing is the biggest lie, I think, and it bothers me so much, is the whole "I'm gay." We don't identify any other characteristic this way.
Yeah.
Like I can be, I can have a short temper. So you could say I am. What's the word for someone?
Angry Phoenix.
I'm
right?
angry. Yeah. I'm a rager.
Explosive. Yeah.
Explosive. Yeah. That's a flaw in me.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes, and it's up to me to keep it at bay and understand that I'm not perfect, and I just need to work on that.
Yeah.
But my identity is not linked to that.
Right.
And I don't think any person that experiences same-sex attraction, their identity is not in that.
Yes.
And it's the biggest, most popular lie being sold right now. So naturally, if your identity is pinned to your sexuality and you're in a community that not rejects, but won't affirm
Okay.
that lifestyle,
Yep.
well, now you're not affirming me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point. Well, Phoenix, thanks so much for laying some of that out. If people want to hear more from you and hear your voice more, where can they go to find that?
At the moment, I have finally breathed some life into my Facebook page and Instagram, and it's just under my name, Phoenix Hayes. But over time, I'm going to be making more appearances in the Cross-Examine private community, on the TikTok, the TikTok, I'm so old, on the Cross-Examine TikTok channel. And wherever you see Frank, I'm not too far away.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much for your insight here. If something that Phoenix said struck you, please leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. That's totally fine. Love to hear from you. Also, I want to mention that we have a Dealing with Deconstruction Facebook group where we can explore more of these ideas that Phoenix was laying out, the idea of identity and whether or not we need some sort of placeholder in front of our identity as Christians and what that means and how closely we can be tied to that. Love to have those conversations in our group. And with that, we will meet you next time as we deal with deconstruction.